What is going on, everybody? It is Fitz in the Skyline, back here with another video. Now, in this video, I just wanted to talk about if you can actually daily a Skyline. So, this is my 1992 Skyline GTS 4 Turbo. So it's the all-wheel drive version of the GTS-T, and this is my baby. This is my child. I've dailied it for 3 months or so now. There have been a couple days where I haven't driven it. I've taken my mom's car or something, but nope, no. All right, so let's just go over a couple things about this car. Actually, before I do that, I want to show you guys the coolest thing I got for Christmas, which is, I'll show you. You guys ready for this? Check this thing out, guys. This is a, I don't really know what to call it. I'm gonna call it a automatic ratcheting wrench, or just a ratcheting wrench. But here she is, boys. Milwaukee. Let's see what it's actually called. Hold on. Ratchets, I guess. So yeah, I had it right. But instead of the good old handheld ratchets, well, I don't want to say handheld, but manual ratchets, this thing, you just tap it and it goes. Working on cars, so installing coilovers or any other smaller things compared to the big impact that I have, this is going to be great. Super thankful for this. Mom and Dad, if you're watching, I really appreciate it, and I promise I'll take care of it and put it to good use. But yeah, man, Kel, shout out to you if you're watching this right now, because you had one of these bad boys. I needed it. So hell yeah, Merry Christmas. Let me know what you guys got down in the comments below. Enough of this, let's get back to the video. The first thing we're going to talk about when dailying Skyline is reliability. So this thing has been great so far. I check the oil about every time I get gas, if not every other time. Just a good habit to get into if you don't have that habit already. The things that I've found mechanically that could make a difference when dailying this car: I found a little coolant leak, but that's when it was really hot, and that was like the first night it got cold. So I'm assuming one of the hoses, one of the coolant lines, the little clamp got loose or something like that and leaked a little bit of coolant. I topped off the reservoir, well, to the max fill line. Since then, I have not had any issues. I blew a fuse, a brake light fuse at a meet, so that freaked me out. My cluster lights weren't on, the tail lights weren't on, and thankfully somebody had a fuse and we got that taken care of. Other than that, she's been doing great. At the end of the day, I like to remind myself that it is just a Nissan, you know? It's from the 90s, it's built to drive, so you may as well drive it. That's about it for reliability. Number 2, let's talk about the comfort that my Skyline GTS 4 offers. So, starting off, it does have 4 doors, obviously, and the leg room in the back, you know, it wasn't made for Americans. I'm just gonna say that. I'm a taller guy and definitely could not fit back here, but as far as hauling stuff goes, you can put more stuff back here, and the trunk is really spacious. I'll show you that right now. Excuse the mess, it's kind of messy in here. Not too bad, but you can carry a lot of stuff in this trunk. I could fit myself, like 2 of me's in this trunk, and it would be just fine. On the inside, plenty of leg room in the front. Climate control from 92, which I think is awesome. I've yet to fix this radio, so that's something I need to do. Probably just get a new one and new speakers as well. It's not too drony on the inside, surprisingly, so I do enjoy this. All power windows, power locks, the mirrors fold in. It's actually a great car with a lot of features from the early 90s. It does ride a little bit sportier than I feel like most older people would like. My dad always likes to point it out how it's a sportier ride. It rode like a Z was, and he's over here riding in style and is used to literally air suspension on this thing. But I find this thing rides amazing. So that's it for the comfortable aspect of this car. Number 3 here, let's talk about the gas mileage this thing gets. I'd say it gets 16 to 20 miles a gallon, depending on how hard I drive this thing. I baby this thing, if you guys couldn't tell already. I will wash it anytime it gets dirty, and I very rarely go past 4K. But gas mileage could be a little better. I'm not gonna complain. It's a turbo 6-cylinder from the 90s, and that's what makes this car Skyline. So gas mileage is not the best, but I wouldn't trade it for the world. Number 4 is the attention that this car gets. I've touched on this in a couple other videos. This car is hot, all right? And I mean that is like everybody sees it and they're like, what is that? Why are you on the wrong side? Holy shit, that's a Skyline. If you're looking for something to just kind of fit in, this is not it. Granted, it's not like a tandem wide body GTR, but still a Skyline. People are still getting used to these being here. And you know, a lot of people don't even know these things exist. So it is really cool. I do enjoy talking to people. And somebody pointed this part out a couple days ago, actually. My wipers are backwards for y'all, or for like the rest of the United States. They usually come up that way, right? But they come up this way. I didn't notice that. I'm sorry if you have, but I just thought I would point that out. Yeah, even though this thing gets a lot of attention, I still love it. Not so much the bad attention part, but I love making people's days when they see this thing. So that's part number 4. The 5th thing we're gonna touch on with this car is a couple of the difficulties of dailying a Skyline. Don't get me wrong, I still love it and I try to embrace these. It can be difficult, especially at first, if you're just picking one of these up. First of all, right, like the steering wheel's on the wrong side. The hardest thing to get used to here was staying in the lane. Probably about 2 hours, the first 2 hours back from Florida, I was in and out of my lane, focused as I can be. It was very stressful for like 30 minutes. I got settled in and then just had to remind myself to scoot over. Something else that is different is I'm shifting with my left hand here. So, right, usually shifting with your right hand, not in this thing, shifting with your left hand. If you're curious, the pattern is the same. The pedals are in the same position and it's really not that bad. So if you're in the car, right, you're usually in a left-hand drive car, you would look up into your right to see your rear view mirror, but in this, it's up to your left, obviously. And if you're Australian or from New Zealand or like not from America watching this video, this will kind of just be normal for you. But since most of my viewers are in the States, we're used to looking up and to the right. The mirror's not up there, guys. I swear it's up above y'all right now, and that did take a long time to get used to. Also, backing up, usually look over your shoulder, like out the middle, right? But you go to look this way and you're like, dang, there's nothing over there. Drive-throughs are a little weird. Going to gas stations aren't that bad. It's on the same side, but I try not to pass people on 2-lane roads. There's just not a need for it unless they're going, 35 and a 55. If you're in a right-hand drive car where you're driving on the right side of the road and there's a car in front of you, you can't see around them to see if you can pass. That took a while to get used to. You do have to just be extra patient passing people, not even on 2-lane roads, just like looking to merge and go around people anywhere. That's just something to keep an eye out for when you're driving a right-hand drive car, or in this case, a Skyline. The last little thing to get used to here, well, I guess the last 2. The climate control is in Celsius, which we're not used to, but I either have it on the hottest or the coolest, so that's not really a worry. I don't know if you noticed, but this thing is not gonna go 260 miles an hour, okay? This is in kilometers, and the boost gauge is in bars. So half bar is 7 PSI, 1 bar is 14. I'm running about 3/4 of a bar, however you would say that. The conversions from kilometers per hour to miles per hour are as follows. 40 is 25 miles an hour, 60 is 37, 80 is 50, 100 is 62, 112 is 70, And then 120 is like 75-ish, so. That did take a while to get used to, not gonna lie. A lot of Googling to figure that part out. But at the end of the day, I got it now, and when in doubt, just go with the flow of traffic, you'll be all right. All right, well, that is gonna wrap it up for this video. If you guys have any questions, feel free to let me know. Be sure to let me know what your favorite present from Christmas was down below. And this has been Fitz Miller and the Skyline, back here with another video. We'll see you guys in the next one.